Morning everyone, welcome back to Life on the Run. Well, I've been going quite some time now. It's amazing really. I started this vlog, well not this vlog, this vlog when I was just 15 when I left school. I didn't start it when I left school. I started telling the story from when I left school. God, it's hard to believe that when I left school there wasn't such a thing as mobile phones or internet, vlogs, YouTube, nothing like that existed. Incredible changes that have occurred in my lifetime. But now, after 11 years at Brocklesby Ox, in Brig, in the park home, my focus of attention was on retirement. I just, all the time, I was thinking about retirement. I think what accelerated it was that when I went out tuning, I mean, a lot of people that I tuned for, I'd tuned for them for 20 years. The kids had grown up and left home, and it's amazing. And people who I tuned for were getting older themselves and retiring. One after one, customers that I'd tuned for years were retiring, telling me about what it was like to be retired and one thing and another, and that started to play on me a bit as well. I never expected that. I really did think I'd keep on working until I was about my age now. I'm nigh on 75. But no, I really did feel that I wanted to retire. I'd worked all my life, since I was 15 years old, and I just wanted to stop doing it. And when I was out in the van, I just felt, well, wouldn't it be great if I didn't have to keep going back to go to work? If we could just do this all the time. And that occupied my attention. But whatever we were going to do, we needed a base, mainly because of Pat. Pat had not really enjoyed good health, and even then, what was it, 2016, she was on tablets. We needed, whatever we did, we needed to be able to register Pat with a doctor. If we sold the park home at Brig, we could no longer remain on the books at the doctors in Brig. Not so with the dentist, they don't care where you live, but the doctor's surgery, no. It didn't work like that. So that meant we did investigate the possibility of registering at a doctor's near Tracy and using Tracy's address. But at that time, nothing was ever discussed about staying at Tracy's. Tracy never mentioned it, and I don't think we thought about it. But we definitely knew we'd need an address. Also, you need an address for, I mean, there are alternative ways of doing it for your road tax and insurance and that. But for a doctor, you do need to have an address, and you register at the nearest doctor to that address. So I had that on my mind as well. When we were travelling round, when I finally decided to retire. That was in 2000, I think it was July 2016. I just stopped, and we went off we had the caravan then, the Bailey pageant, and we went down Cornwall for 6 weeks, I think. We put the park home up for sale. And we hadn't decided on the next where we were going to go, what we were going to do by that time. While we were down in Cornwall and touring round, going down there and coming back, we were looking. We kept going to static caravan parks, but they all wanted £5,000 a year ground rent. And they were asking 70 and 80,000 quid for a static caravan. Well, that's what, more or less, what we 80,000 quid was about the value of the park home. No, that was out of the question. What eventually we stumbled across Woodthorpe Leisure Park in near Alford in Lincolnshire. We knew about it vaguely from way back. There was a big garden centre in Brigg, and this family, the Frosts, were it? I think they were called Frost, the family who ran this really big garden centre in Brigg. Well, they had another garden centre, the sister, in near Alford, and they owned this a static caravan park and a touring park. It was a full 18-course golf course. They had a golf range where you practiced, and they had a touring park there, and they had a static park. And it was a sister to this garden centre in Brigg, so we knew about it. And they were cheaper than anywhere else that we'd seen. What we should have done in hindsight, I think we could have done it in hindsight, was we should have really put the static onto a seasonal pitch for 6 months and tried it out. I think we could have registered, because they had vans, statics on there with people living in them 12 months a year, and people who lived on there were registered with a doctor in Alford. Whether we could have done that from a seasonal pitch, I don't know for sure. If we could have done that, that would have been the best way we could have done it. We wouldn't have had to spend any money then, only the pitch fee for the 6 months, and we could have tried it out, and we would have discovered that we didn't like it. But I never thought about it. Only since have I thought about it, which is a shame. So what did we do? We went and we had a talk with the lady there who showed us round, and Pat fell in love with one of the statics. It were brand new, Pemberton. I believe they're the top of the range, good quality static caravans. It was a lovely caravan, I have to say. And they'd extended up near the lake at the top, and there were some new pitches that they'd just built up at the top end there. And it were overlooking the golf course. It were lovely. Looked lovely. It were far less money than the places we'd looked at for the ground rent. But even then I got it wrong. You see, what they told me didn't quite match up. When we eventually we bought, well, we put a deposit down to secure the pitch until we sold the park home, which we did, which eventually we did. In the meantime, something else happened. We had the caravan in a storage yard. This is where they all have it sewn up. This storage yard, suddenly, it was up for renewal, my fee for the storage yard for the year, I think it was £230 a year or something I was paying. Got this massive envelope through the post. God, just about wanted to know my inside leg measurement on this ruddy form. And they wanted details of your insurance for the caravan and all sorts of stuff, and whether or not it were paid for, and if it weren't, what you were paying a month, and God knows what. And I refused to fill this form in. So I didn't renew the storage yard. So then we were without anywhere to store the van. And I finished up for a while, put it on this farm. But that was no good either. It'd move it. I had a pitch, and when I come again, it had been moved, and I wasn't happy about it. And I found sheep all round it. It had all oil off at sheep all over the side of it, and with them leaning again it. So I wasn't happy with that, and I really did think when we moved into Woodthorpe that we won't tour anymore. I just thought that'd be it. It was near the coast. We'd just go off for days and go on holiday, go off and stay in a hotel and stuff like that. That's what I thought we'd do. So I sold the van. So that were a mistake, selling the van, and it were a mistake buying the static. But at that time, it seemed the right thing to do, because we could register Pat with a doctor. Everything was all above board. There you go, hindsight. All right, we'll continue it on another day. Okay, see you later. Bye.